Dwelling deep underground below Limgrave and Caelid flows the Siofra River. Surrounded by the ruins of a civilization that predates the Erd Tree itself, this area is only part of the massive structures hidden beneath the lands between. As for this area of the river, there's a handful of things you should be sure to grab during your trip upstream. So get ready to dodge an onslaught of lightning, great arrows, and horns as we grab 6 things not to miss in Siofra River. Siofra River initially has one primary entrance, the Siofra River Well, located within the Mistwoods of Limgrave. From the Mistwood outskirts site of Grace, you can head east-southeast to find the well. Taking the elevator down will eventually reveal our first set of ruins, as well as the site of Grace, the Siofra River Well depths. At the Stake of Marika nearby, we can actually mount Torrent and use him to grab our first item. Going northeast, we'll find some claimant throughout the ruins, but we'll ignore them for now and run through to the opposite end. Turn right up the hill and around the corner, jump onto the nearby structure. Use Torrent to navigate the gaps as you loop around the top of the ruins, and you'll come to a platform with a couple claimant. Going inside, we can drop down to another level where we can see a scarab on a broken statue. Killing this scarab will reward us with the sorcery Oracle Bubbles. Requiring 19 intelligence and 15 arcane, this will cost 12 FP per cast, releasing 9 bubbles that deal pure magic damage. These do not travel very far, nor do they have very good tracking. However, this can be charged to increase damage as well as the duration the bubbles linger. While a relatively lackluster sorcery in the early game, this has really low FP cost and some good stance damage, especially when you consider that charging barely increases cast time. The bubbles do make excellent traps, since enemies will walk directly into them, and if properly buffed with solid sorcery scaling and magic damage boosts, this can really shine when used at close range. We can now exit these ruins and head up the elevator to their east. This will bring us up to the river itself, and following it uphill beyond the ambushing crab, we can find the Siofra River bank site of Grace on our left. The next item is just nearby, on a ledge to the west of the Grace. Jumping up, we can find 2 spectral ancestral followers nearby a corpse that holds the Armorer's Cookbook 6. This will teach you how to craft preserving boluses, which can be used to cure you of scarlet rot and remove all buildup. I covered these in depth in my neutralizing and preserving boluses video, so if you'd like more information on gathering the crafting materials to make these yourself, definitely check that out. Our next thing not to miss is actually a merchant, hidden away in some nearby ruins. From the Siofra Riverbank site of Grace, head east-northeast, dodging the balls of lightning as best you can until you reach the second underpass, this one with wooden scaffolding around. Climb the scaffolding, eliminate the 2 ancestral followers on your way up, and at the top platform, drop down to a walkway found off the northwest edge. Following the path, we'll go behind a waterfall and through a cave, to find ourselves inside the ruins. Dropping down, we can hear the sweet sound of music fill in the air, and to the south, we can find the abandoned merchant of Siofra River. Within his stock, we'll find 3 stone sword keys, a larval tear, as well as 2 cookbooks and a weapon. The Nomadic Warrior's Cookbook 17 will teach you how to craft soap as well as oil pots, and the Nomadic Warrior's Cookbook 18 will teach you how to make dappled cured meats. As for the weapon, he sells the Shodel, which is a very lightweight curved sword that can be infused with Ashes of War. This also partially bypasses enemy guard, allowing at least 40% damage to pass through, depending on the attack used. To find our next 2 items, we'll have to get to an area accessible only by taking a nearby portal, so as a precaution, we'll also grab the nearest site of Grace. Dropping down and exiting the ruins, run east behind the scaffolding we climbed earlier, to find the Worshipper's Woods site of Grace inside a large structure. From the Grace, mount Torrent and head south, towards some massive white trees. On the other side of them, we can find a broken pillar to climb with an ancestral archer camped midway up, who we can just dash past. Running to the top, we'll find the portal, which will bring us to an area found above the merchant we just visited. From here, go west across the water and turn left at the large rock, heading through the entrance to the nearby ruins. Guarded by a very large number of Claymen, there's a scarab hiding in the back. Squash the bug to be rewarded with your second Clayman sorcery, Great Oracular Bubble. Requiring 25 intelligence and 18 arcane, this will cost 16 FP to cast a very large magic bubble. Unlike the Oracle bubbles from earlier, this has significant travel distance and tracking. Charging this sorcery may not be as fast as the bubbles, but it will greatly increase the damage and duration before popping. The bubble itself explodes in a decent radius and lingers slightly, giving it potential to clear tightly packed groups of enemies. Although sharing similar traits, this spell's damage to health and general viability is a huge improvement over our previous sorcery. The damage for this is calculated purely off of your sorcery scaling, without any bonus from your intelligence or arcane stats, and is not boosted by any particular stabs nor the Envoy Crown, since that's specific to bubble-based weapon skills. This sorcery is pretty useful in both PvE and PvP, finding itself surprisingly effective in applying pressure with its fantastic tracking, speed, and literally creating an obstacle for your opponent to avoid. Exiting the ruins, we can go north through the water to find a dragonkin soldier slumped at the center of the pond. Once close enough, he'll wake and you'll begin your brawl with this massive creature. After you've laid the imitation dragon to rest, you'll receive the dragon Halberd. Requiring 22 strength and 10 dexterity to wield, this weapon has really solid scaling and output, as well as quite a few hidden features. This has purely thrusting-based light attacks, allowing it to benefit nicely from the Spear Talisman, and its heavy attacks expand the moveset beyond piercing damage, with a full charge dealing a dual strike with some very heavy stance damage. As for its unstated features, this will deal 10% increased damage to dragons, and an extra 5% damage to ancient dragons. The most important feature though is its locked weapon skill, Spinning Slash. Although it has the same description as every other weapon with the skill, as well as the Ash of War, this version has a greatly increased startup cost, but with the benefit of bonus effects. Initially costing 17 FP, you'll imbue this weapon with Ice Lightning for the next 45 seconds, gaining 160 lightning damage and 60 frostbite buildup, before executing a slightly faster than normal spinning attack. The follow-up input will cost 11 FP, which is actually 1 FP less than the other spinning slashes, and adds an Ice Lightning strike to the end, causing bonus damage and frostbite buildup. Although when fully upgraded, its scaling indicates the skews more towards strength, this will actually perform better with a more even stat spread between dexterity and strength, just adding to the list of mysterious interactions with this armament. Especially for a halberd, it's very surprising it doesn't require heavy stat investment to feel the potential of this unique weapon. With its ability to reliably apply frostbite, stance break, and deal impressive damage, this is a weapon that all Tarnished should be sure to at least try out. The final item for us to snag is a golden seed found just nearby. From the pond we slayed the dragonkin on, go southeast off the small waterfall, and then north-northeast off a ledge to descend down to the northern end of the zone. Nearby on a cliffside, nestled in a bed of golden flowers, we can find a golden tree and the golden seed waiting for us. And with that, we've grabbed all 6 things you should be sure not to miss within Siofra River. Be sure to leave a like or a comment on this video if it helped you out, and as for the Upper River and Nokron, that will be coming soon, so be sure to subscribe so you can keep up with all of my Elden Ring content. As always, I'm StoneBear13, and thank you for watching.